Good evening, everybody. Hospitality guy, you're the first one here. User Sharon May. Lucas Jackson, hey, brother. User 6174. Learning Moon. Hey, Mercury Man, good to see you up in Vermont, brother. Everybody coming in here. This is Encounters. It's Friday night. Ozzy, thank you. Debbie, welcome. Audrey, everybody. Lenny, excuse me. BBD, welcome. Lexi, welcome. Debbie, Mercury Man, Ozzy, everybody. Jennifer, everybody come in. Lenny, thank you for the gift. We appreciate that so much. David, welcome. David Leloy, Pink Tea, Camp Sparkles, everybody coming in here. We're going to have another great show. And I have my show from last night that'll be available tonight on my YouTube channel. So we're all caught up. We had like 3 shows backlogged on my YouTube. So all those 3 shows the show that was back, the last one was from last night. That show will be on my YouTube channel tonight, another one. And then tonight will be a new show that'll be recorded, which is this show. That'll be downloaded tomorrow morning or by tomorrow morning, and that'll also be on my YouTube channel. UFOWebcam, good to see you, brother. UFOWebcam was a great guest the other night, and I've been looking at, if I just stay on TikTok looking at UFO footage, now there are people creating these AI fake videos, and they show these fake spaceships, and of course the typical ET that looks like they have big eyes and they're walking around together, and then the woman is standing with a microphone like she's a reporter, and there's been at least 2 or 3 or 4 of these. So right now that seems to be the rage for AI created video, and some people, they don't know that these things are not real. So I have to say, I go on there and say, yep, you're just watching a fake AI video that is not real but looks real. And so that seems to be, when you start seeing those videos, just remember they're not real. They're AI created. They're starting to pop up on TikTok. They're not real. It's good to have everybody here. There's a lot of UAP activity on live streams tonight, around 25 orbs UAPs, I believe. Oh, really? You can come up and talk about that, UFO webcam. Definitely let's get into that and bring some of that information forward. And just like with UFO webcam, and it's a really important part of our show is now UFO webcam, he has got real information that's really important, and it's just good. So we'll bring him up probably first to give us some updates. Jersey for Life, good to see you. Roxy2, Kenneth, Nitrous, welcome. Jersey for Life, everybody coming out there. I'm so psyched that the weekend's here. It's been a long week for everybody. Arthur, good to see you. Becky G. Everybody, please share and like. We want to get to 100,000 likes. Now, how you do that is, if you don't know how to make my numbers go up at 2.4K, you have to tap. So if everybody taps who's in here, please share my live. Sharing my live, it's not just for, if you love my live for the last 3 years, or you're just finding out that you love my live, share with people that you think should be here tonight. Should be watching the show. Ginger, good to see you. Lisa, thank you for the share. And I'll know you're sharing it because it'll say shared the live. It'll say who shared it. If every single person shares the live with people they want to share it with, that's really important. Ruby, good to see you. Palladium Rainbow, hey. OG, hey OG. Barry McCockner, good to see you. Wendy, welcome everybody coming in. S. Jenny, 91, welcome. Pink Justice. Blessed Pisces, thank you for the share. See? It only takes one push to share. You have the little arrow, like the kind of curvy arrow. So you can share with your friends that you think should know about the show, and that makes it important. Beyond TikTok sharing my live on the algorithm, it's up to every individual human being to do it. Hey, Nina, good to see you. Greetings from Utah. Good to see you, User Peterson. Bonnie Ellis, Ruby, Money Manny, everybody coming in here. And also, just one thing I want to say. There is going to be a bill to repeal the ban that is Senator Rand Paul and the Democratic Congressman, I think it's Kahani, I might be getting his name wrong. Anyway, there is a push to repeal the ban. Everyone support it. There's a gentleman on here who's on TikTok who's really working to do it. There's a few people actually. And so we need to repeal the ban, which we can do to make sure never, that ban gets repealed. I'll get more information about that for people. And I think all of us who are creators on here and influencers like myself should let people know that there is a bill that is being pushed to repeal the ban that was put in place in April of 2024. All right. And Rogue, thank you for the gift. We appreciate the gifts here. And let me see here. So tonight there's a lot of stuff going. We get an update. We will get an update. I'm going to bring UFOWebcam up. And we're going to get an update. I know there's a lot of stuff going on today because I've been watching footage being posted on TikTok. That's not true. Meta does not own TikTok. UFOWebcam, welcome to the show.
Hey, Commander, how are you today?
Good, good. So things are definitely happening. During my breaks, I look at footage for see what people are doing. And there seems to be a lot of uptake, in activity all over the place.
Yeah, I was talking to my MUFON investigators when we were on the last podcast with you and talking about they're seeing a lot of they're getting a lot of reports around the world. So, MUFON is the largest independent investigative source in the world, 50 years, and they've done millions of cases. So we've sent them 4 videos now, and 5 to 7% of those 5 to 7% of the cases that are sent into them are results in unknown. And the cool thing is, we've sent them 4 videos now, and 4 for 4 are all unknown. They look at.
Have you heard of the National UFO Reporting Center? That's been around for a lot of years. Probably, I don't know if it's been as long as MUFON. They're really good people.
So that would be Robert Powell. I believe Robert Powell heads that up. So he was the president of MUFON for 10 years, and he moved on to start that organization. So we're actually talking to him too. He was the one that referred me to UFO DAP, which is the AI equipment that we're getting, and that's going to be tracking. We're excited about that, Commander, because that's going to be actually tracking the moving objects. And then, hold on, there's a camera here. Cool. All right, looks like
I just learned the other night, after 3 years, I've learned that little icon with the camera, I can actually shoot it over to somebody and they'll see it and they can just come on live that way.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
You can see our live stream we had on tonight. So there's our screen. Not a lot of activity now, but man, I'll tell you, around 9:15, 8:30, we probably count about 25 orbs. One of them I'll show you. This is our channel, UFOWebcam. And so one we posted today, Joey, he actually captured this. So I was narrating it, and you can see, right over here, that's a plane. So you'll see it's in the distance, but it has a blinking light, which is the FAA identifier. Now that's a UAP that came in, and you can see it just disappeared.
Can you bring that up close on the camera? Is there a way of doing that?
There's another one I'm pointing at there.
Oh yeah.
Now look,
is that a UAP?
Yeah, look how bright it gets.
Look at that thing.
That's a UAP, and that's on a live stream. So we were showing that on YouTube where people were seeing it live.
Really? Wow.
Yep. And then another one coming down from the bottom right corner of the screen. You'll see me point that out here next, right there. And that one popped up too. So in just that instant, there were 3 UAPs that came across. I'm still highlighting that one as it moves to the left. They were faster movers. We had a few that appeared just about 100 foot over the water too, over the Gulf.
Really?
But that is a plane that I'm pointing out. So I was narrating and actually just pointing the planes out that were blinking, and then I was circling the UAPs. And over here, that's actually Venus getting low. And believe it or not, the horizon, the water line is just down here. So we're not talking a lot of elevation. As you can see on the screen here, that's live right now. So you can see that blinking light. That is
what is that? Is that a UAP?
No, that's a jet coming across. So you can see
a jet.
Yeah, you can see the blinking FAA identifier lights. In most cases, that's going to be a military plane doing their rounds through there.
Okay,
You can see the palm tree that I have there, and I can move this. So that's the cool thing, is this whole screen that I have is it's PTZ, so we can essentially move it. We could zoom in.
Wow!
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I can move it to the right, and you can see the palm tree move over there, and it takes a
look at that.
little bit to focus in, and then we'll we'll tag into it. So yeah, that is a jet coming across the screen right there that you see blinking
Yeah.
in the middle there. But you can see the water line is really just right here. That is
Right there. I can see it. It's
yep,
right at, you can see the tree and the water line.
yep, that's a darker horizon line there, the water line. So we had them rising just this high right here, coming up at angles
Oh, wow.
all over the place while the military jets were coming in. And we probably had about, there were times when there were 3, 4 military jets and 3 UAPs just coming around them.
Really?
It was amazing activity, amazing.
Do you think, the military jets must know that the UAPs are there too?
Oh, there's no doubt that they know they're there. So over the last 9 months that I've been recording, and we've had 300 videos that we've recorded in that 9 months. It was first just the passenger planes that were coming in and the cargo planes, and so the orbs were appearing in front of them. And if you look at some of the videos I have, there's so many close calls, and and so I'm sure that what they did was they called in to FAA and letting the towers know that, hey, what is this object appearing in front of me? There's so many reports that they're appearing around planes. Of course, the pilots don't know what they are. I was mentioning last time when I was on your show talking about Chris Bledsoe, ex-CIA agent, wrote the book UFO of God. He's been on TV quite a bit, a lot of networks, and Senate hearing committees as well, and he believes they're an angelic being. I believe totally that they're peaceful angelic beings now that I've watched them over the last year, that I've literally been seeing them. And there's no doubt they're showing themselves. They're over the Gulf, over the waters. They're showing themselves where the military now has identified them, I'm sure, from all the pilots calling them in from the cargo and passenger planes. And now you've seen, I would say, over the last 7 weeks, Commander, 8 weeks, really heavy. The military's been flying in. Now they send in drones in there, and they've actually got a research boat on the water quite a bit. Looking at them. That was the video I showed you last time where you could see the glare of one of the orbs off the water near that research.
So I want to get your expert opinion on this because I believe, you have a good insight. So with what you're saying, when the military jets observing these objects and also naval ships, I used to know somebody. He was from Britain originally. I met him at a UFO conference where I wasn't supposed to speak. I was there for a radio station and also for a cable TV broadcast. And I was sitting in the audience. It was packed house. I was with my wife. And then this person who was the head of the Long Island UFO Network, he was arrested and put in prison for attempting to supposedly use portable nuclear devices against political politicians in Long Island, which is a trumped up charge. He actually had information with a person who had a top security clearance and was given information and footage that I've seen. It was on VHS at the time. Of a large spaceship in Long Island that was shot down by a particle accelerator beam over Brookhaven Laboratories. And I know this is all true, this is what I know. Yes. And, no one will ever know this because I've seen the video footage. It was probably confiscated when they took away his files and everything are gone. But my memory is really good because I was out there at the site where it crashed. Sure. So with this whole thing, with the Gulf, and I want to get your expert opinion, do you think that the government, when I say government, the people that are telling them, I'm sure the DOD is involved in this, they're saying, go out to the Gulf. We want you to observe this, send our drones out. We need to observe these spacecraft or these orbs. Do you think that they're concerned? I mean, I don't think there's any threat either. I know there isn't. I think they're here to help us. Yes. But do you think that the government is afraid of losing their power because all this stuff is starting to increase?
Yeah, I think there's a definite fear of that. Since World War II, we've ruled the airs. We've ruled the waters, the oceans with our navies, our air forces. Look how much money we put into national defense. Mm-hmm. I think so. But I think at the same time they're prepping us, right? They're right. In all honesty, it's so hard for me to. I thought I kind of knew what was going on, studying all this and really, going down the rabbit hole and trying to figure this out. But when you hear these whistleblowers coming out and you hear about things like Project Bluebeam, Dr. Greer talks about, and then it's kind of hard to really figure out what's real,
Yeah.
what's really real. And with all
Yeah.
the disinformation that the government's putting out there, who knows what's real? So,
Yeah.
they
One
claim
thing
that
you mentioned,
election
you
is on
mentioned
its
like
way,
Bluebeam. Yeah, the Bluebeam thing. I said for years, somebody created it when the internet was created, and it took off. I joke around about it because I said, show me a Bluebeam. What is a Bluebeam? What is a definition of that? I've not seen it. I can tell you I've seen orbs like you're talking about. The angelic things I believe are true. That there's totally. I saw a chart of all the different types over the last 70 years of different objects that people have recorded. And there's a chart where you can look at the different pictures. Some are triangular, some are orb shaped, some look like cones, all different types of extraterrestrial vehicles. So the Project Bluebeam thing, I say, unless I can physically in the years I've been an adult, I've never seen what it is. And it's people get loosely, they'll see a video of somebody showing UAPs. Oh, that's only Project Bluebeam. What is Project Bluebeam? Nobody really knows. I mean,
well, yeah.
somebody's
So,
the
right. So what I understand about Project Bluebeam, it's a disinformation act to kind of move into a one world government. So the government is essentially going to say the UFOs are coming to invade us. Okay, that's really the
Yeah,
plan. That we need to be ready. That we need to unite as a world government. And what could unite us as a world government would be a threat from outer space, right? Because
right,
obviously, Iran, Russia, China, they're not enough of a threat. We're all still fighting each other. But if there was
right,
anything that makes sense that they could do, right? So what they're saying is now they have the technology where they can create these 3D holograms and things in the air that we won't know if they're real. But at the same
yeah,
time, using some of the weaponry they've created for mind control and inserting things in our minds. So if you're out there and you're looking at a hologram over the water, let's just say it looks like Jesus, and sparkles and rays are coming from him at the
right,
same
right,
time. He doesn't talk to you; you hear it in your mind. Okay, so all the
right,
people are looking at this and they're hearing him or a UFO talk to them through their mind. People go
yeah,
into fear. They really believe that, oh wow, this is what the government's been saying. Um, and then could the government show that we're actually in an alien war, and actually through those holograms show that we take out those aliens, right? And then what does that
right,
do? Well, now this superb force, our government has taken out this craft that's out there,
right,
which the government planted to make us believe, but they
right,
just destroyed it, shot it down, all holograms, right? All
right,
things for us to see and believe, and then making us go into this world order, this one world government, go into even the cryptocurrency, the blockchains to control us, to track our money,
right. That's
in
right.
all aspects. So a lot of people think, coming down to companies like BlackRock and what they're doing, and of course they own companies like Skunkworks and Lockheed Martin,
Yeah,
DARPA. And now from hearing they may start monetizing assets like land and lakes and mountains and stuff like that, and creating a
yeah,
whole new asset class to bring in more money. So
yeah,
a lot of black projects out there. Again, who's to say what's true from the new whistleblower Jake Barber talking about the egg? A lot of people
yeah,
now in the UFO community are saying that could be AI. Well, he's
mm,
talking. He's got a good story. He's got tears coming down his eyes, talking about
hmm,
the being that connected with him while he was transporting that being. Um, but gosh, actors can cry too, right?
yeah. They
So
could.
they
What's
can
interesting?
tears.
A
Is he
friend of
planted by the
ours.
government? Who's to say?
Yeah, we have a friend. You love them. Ray and Mary up in the Appalachian Mountains. They're having, since I started this show over 3 years, they've had contact with the Anunnaki, which are physical human beings. They've actually come into their home. Uh, they were talking about a story that they found on TikTok about scientists in Antarctica, and I'm trying to find the link. I messaged them today about it. I want to see this. They found a object, like a spaceship, in Antarctica that was, and the being woke up and they were in stasis, meaning they were alive but they were in stasis, and they woke up. They had long hair. They were human, and they were able to speak English. And the scientists were asking questions, and they weren't the the little gray aliens, or ETs with eyes. This was a human, and they were
Sure.
from a higher vibrational frequency. And I'm still waiting to get the information for the link. I want to watch it because I don't know where the information came from. But if that's true, hey Taz, I want to see that because that would be something. If it is true,
And that sounds like
it
the
is.
Nordic race. You're talking about maybe the Nordic race. They've been talking about the tall beings that are 7, 8 foot, blonde beings and stuff like that.
It
Uh,
could be a Nordic. We call it Nordic, but at least blonde hair. And they talk about how they prevented the nuclear war in the 1980s,
yes,
70s. And
yes,
that would be the Ashtar Command, which is
and that would
something I'm
be
very
Thor,
connected with.
wouldn't it? That would be
Yep.
the ambassador Thor that supposedly came down in
Uh,
representation,
on
right?
this particular being, I'm not sure what the name is. I want to get my facts a little bit more on that. And I'm going to find out a little bit more so I can share it. Once I do that, I will share what I understand from the scientific studies that they were watching this video from, I think it was not News Nation or one of those things. They actually were out there and they actually showed this information. But there are things happening that I can't talk about right now. We're going to talk about tomorrow night. My friend April and I are going to be talking about something that's going on that is not good, and it has to do with negative ETs. And we're
Sure.
saving that for tomorrow night. And you're going to probably want to watch the show tomorrow night too,
Oh,
because
definitely. You know, and
it's going to
speaking of
be.
that, there is one craft that we did take video of that somebody talked about a book that was out of light ships, which are light ships over the water. I think I
Yeah.
can't remember, and not quoting me directly, but what the title was. But he mentioned it and said those were benevolent beings, and he looked at our video and actually stated that wow, that could be one of those benevolent beings. But I want to show you that real quick, Commander. That was something actually we caught on the smart telescope,
Oh,
which
okay.
I thought was
Let's take a look at that.
phenomenal. And that's it right there. It's an orange craft that
Oh yeah, look at that.
it's actually in the telescope. We caught this over about 500 foot over water. And you can
Oh
actually go on
wow.
TikTok to see how it moves. The G forces that thing has as it moves left and right, and it stops on a dime sometimes, just crazy. Now, again, that wasn't caught on our live stream, 4K high definition
Yeah.
camera with wide view. This was
Yeah.
caught in a smart telescope, a Beaver Smart Lab telescope. So to give you an idea, like I'll
And
go in here real quick and show you.
okay. And someone's asking you, why do you think it's an orange? Why do you think the color's orange?
That's the Beaver telescope right there.
Okay.
So that's a smart lab telescope, and you literally just put your iPhone right here, and you don't even look through the scope itself. It's incredible. And
Mm.
so we've been using that and and capturing some incredible stuff. There was one I told you that we were watching it. If I can zoom in a little bit, and you can kind of see it maybe a little bit more.
Yeah. Wow. Look at that thing.
Now it actually has. If you stop the video while you're looking at it, and again, you can see it on our channel at UFOWebcam on TikTok and find that video. But when you stop it and look at it, it is amazing. The definition of this craft. It has
Oh my gosh.
ridges and walls on it. And I sat there after I recorded that night and looked at it just for minutes, 10, 20 minutes, and was like, my gosh, this is unbelievable.
Yeah. I'm
Because
gonna. I'm probably gonna share that on my main page if I can. If you let me,
oh,
I'll take it.
absolutely,
I'll
of
definitely gonna
course.
share. That's a really interesting footage.
We
That's
want you
amazing.
to. Absolutely.
Okay.
Anything that you see on there, please share. The
I will.
idea is what we're trying to do and do something different. In fact, we have a podcast we're starting next week. We'll be on there sometimes around 8 o'clock. The idea is we're going to be out on the deck, overlooking the water with the camera looking at us, and the background will be the live action happening. And
Yeah.
so we want to be the first in the world to actually do a podcast with live UAP activity in the
Oh,
background
good.
with our MUFON investigators as guests, ex-CIA agents, and looking at it while you guys are looking at it and saying, what is that? Can you explain
Yeah.
it? And so I'm
And
trying
then
to bring on all types of guests, and you're more than welcome as well. I'm down here in
I'll
Florida.
definitely be. I'll definitely come
Come
as a
on
guest
down here to the
over here.
beach house and, hey, come on out and hang out for a few days, and you'll love it, man. You could do your show right here, and we'll look at live UFOs right off the back deck. So not
I have to.
videos,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
posts or anything, or not stories. What we're trying
Yeah.
to do is show people in their face. This is live. We're
And
out.
that's different. See, that's what I love about you. You want to get people the truth. You want them to see real activity,
Real
uh,
activity.
and and you're doing an extraordinary thing for disclosure and getting to the truth. So I commend you for that. And someone's
Thank you.
asking in my
Thank you.
audience, Boss Ross, tell us why it came to your mind. Why do you think it's orange? So they're interested in the color of the object.
Well, I mean, if you want to look at colors, I would say that's orange and this is purple.
Yeah,
It's kind of hard to say,
right.
the color of it. But if I had to describe it, it seemed like it has some, not even a glow to it. It actually has structure on this thing, which is so crazy. Let me see if I can stop this. Um, you see if I can actually stop this here. Yeah, well, I don't even know how to stop this darn thing on TikTok. It just keeps rolling. Um,
Yeah,
but it
it is
has,
interesting. It
yeah, it
has
has.
patterns of light.
Look how it moves around. But you know, we're gonna post all this stuff like YouTube,
Yeah.
Instagram. We've opened them all up, and of course, these
Oh,
things
good.
have different functionality where you can stop and really look at it. But
Yeah.
just amazing. There was another one. You remember we talked about the TikTok, and everybody's talking about the TikTok with the Navy pilots and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did. I think I showed you that last time where we captured
Yeah.
that, and that was amazing because let me see if I can find that. Whoops. Okay, guys, we are. Let me see here.
Yeah, he's folks. If you're not following UFO Webcam, you need to follow him on TikTok. He's got some extraordinary footage that they're documenting. It's really, really good.
Yeah, and the thing is, like I was telling you, Commander, this is all our stuff. We're not.
Yeah.
I love sharing, looking at what other people and sharing their stuff, but it just so happens we're having
Yeah.
so much stuff that it's like, wow. I mean, like here's one with the orb and the police helicopter we looked at last time. Remember?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that was a police helicopter there, and then you got the orbs just appearing
Yeah.
around it and
That's
disappearing.
interesting.
And we saw 30 of those orbs that night when the helicopter was around.
I
And
see.
again, we're out there on the deck, on the ocean,
Yeah.
looking at it and talking about it as we see it. And so it's pretty hard to fake an AI when you're sitting there talking and leaves are
Yeah. No,
falling and stuff
really.
like that. But believe it or not, people still are like, "Well, that's AI." And great. We're going to take it to the next level. Then we're going to
Right.
live stream this.
And a
And
lot of people say that because they don't have a background. Not to put them down, they're just not uneducated about the subject. So
yeah,
they're saying what they think it is,
sure.
not what they know it is. You know.
That's right. And me coming from a military background, born DOD, Air Force bases, Europe, Asia, all over the world, seeing the military craft that I've seen, being intrigued. I wanted to be a helicopter pilot myself. I actually had a paraglider for years, flying, and had to call in the towers to see if they had missions going. Um, yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff. I understand the skepticism people have out there, but you
Yeah.
really got to educate yourself, right? You got to have
Yeah.
the knowledge of it. Somebody on our channel was talking about, oh gosh, don't get so excited, fella. Those are, they look like
Right.
satellites to
Yeah. Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
satellites. Okay, so let's look at the water line here. And
Yeah.
satellites don't appear 100 feet above the water line, then disappear, and you
Yeah.
don't see military jets around them. And I just
Yeah.
told the guy nicely, look, educate yourself on satellites. I got
Yeah.
great videos of Starlink. I mean, incredible coming over the ocean. And we see satellites all the time. My brother-in-law, that's a lieutenant colonel in the Space Force, that is what he does. He actually tracks satellites from China.
And could you,
They came
I was going to
over.
ask you, can you tell people what Space Force is for people that don't know?
Well, Space Force is the organization, the branch of the military that was created when Trump first took office, because most, especially our adversaries, rogue governments, are weaponizing space. Pretty much, our country staying in competition, we have to do the same thing. Of course, we have to keep an eye on what they're doing as well.
Hmm.
With all the new space-based weapons, the technology, the hypersonic weapons, the lasers,
Hmm.
rods of God. I mean, there's so much that are out there that we don't know. But yeah, space definitely is the next frontier.
Do you
From our
think?
communications, we have to
Do
be
you
there.
think the
So Space
Space
Force,
Force? Do you think it's being used as a thing against the positive star people that are trying to come here? Do you think the purpose of it is to, and this is hypothetical here, but I don't know this to be true or not true, but there's, for conventional purposes, the definition of a space force against other nations having, like you were talking about. But what happens if Space Force's real purpose is to stop contact from occurring? And I'm getting very hypothetical here. I don't know that to be true or not.
You know, it is a great hypothetical question. Who knows really what they're doing out there? We won't get the full disclosure for our government. You know that, Commander.
Yeah,
Money that they're putting in there, if they are doing that, of course, looking at new frontiers, looking at life beyond our planet, of course, I think they would be doing that. But I think our government already knows, right? I
yeah,
think our reverse engineering programs and everything. Truly, I feel that we're having to keep our eye on China and Russia for a lot of what's happening up there, and us trying to maintain our national security, and have that advantage. Of course, we have to, because space is really
yeah,
where the war is going to be fought in the future.
yeah,
There's no doubt. But it's a great,
yeah.
it's a great question. It's a great theory. We don't know what they're doing. I did see something on Space Force and their command at Vandenberg Air Force Base. Just saw got some information and video of a huge craft that came off the Pacific and put them into a red alert status. This was last year that it happened, and the craft was the size of a football field, literally the size of a football field. It was flat, and it put
Wow.
them at high alert status. I haven't heard anything from my brother-in-law on that. I'm going to ask him about that. Of course, a lot of the stuff
Yeah,
he deals with is DARPA, and he can't talk about what he does with the Space Force. But
right.
yeah,
All right. Well, UFO webcam, thanks for coming up with an update here, man. It's
yeah,
been great.
absolutely. Yeah,
We
it's a
can,
pleasure to be here again. Please share us, guys, because the goal is we want to share something that's never been seen before, live stream, live activity, not just videos. And we want to get the word out. I mean, Commander's
yeah.
great in doing that, obviously.
And somebody's asking a question about Marinette saying, can you give details of the telescope you use, please? That telescope?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a Beaver telescope. And I got it, believe it or not, it was a great deal. They're about $500 on Amazon. You can even get them. It's actually Beaver Labs. So the Beaver
Beaver Lab.
Lab is a great telescope. This is a 500 that comes out. The nice thing is this runs on its own, so you could take it out of the beach and just simply press this button here.
Oh,
And when you
wow.
press that button, that has actually the capturing the device that captures all the pictures, and so you don't actually look through this, which is interesting.
Oh,
You
wow.
tie your app up to it, and then you put your phone down here, and you're sitting
Oh,
there
wow.
watching the app on your phone and actually watching your phone with all the stuff going through it, but you're recording it
Oh, wow. That's really interesting.
through this, isn't it? It's crazy. So the technology, again, what we're doing is we're really trying to come up with, somebody mentioned on my TikTok channel, man, if I had a, waterfront view and I was on the Gulf of Mexico, and I've been blessed with a few businesses that I have and been very successful. And they're like, man, I'd have, FLIR out here and all the high tech. And,
Yeah.
I commend them for that, because I agree, if I
Yeah.
do have this opportunity, which is rare, and I've been blessed to have it. And the MUFON investigator, the scientist from Minnesota that's coming up, and again, he's a scientist. And he was asking me. He said, "Dave, what's your IQ?" And I said, "That's an interesting question. Why you're asking me that?" And he says, "Because you believe that certain individuals are attracting the UAPs, or they want to show themselves."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I said, "Yeah, you know what? I believe that. I believe that they are showing themselves to me, because they know my mind and my spirit, and
Your consciousness. They know you.
they
Yeah.
knew what I was going to do. So they
Yeah.
knew that if they expose themselves to me constantly, almost on a nightly basis now, that we can show this, right? Because how can you show a live stream of stuff actually going on if it
Yeah.
only happens once a month or once every
Yeah.
year? But if it happens every week, 3, 4 times, 5 times a week, the only thing that I can think to myself is that it's happening for a reason, that I need to expose it and share it with other people. And that's what
Yeah.
we're doing, showing it
And I
live.
have one last question being given to you before I let you go. Hope
Sure.
Thompson says, can you ask him why he thinks the orbs are angelic beings? Great question.
Because gosh, Chris Bledsoe again. You got to look at him and look at. I'm connected him on LinkedIn. He's an ex-CIA agent. He's been on Discovery and National Geographic. He's been on quite a few shows, Senate hearing committees. He's an ex-CIA agent. He did study these things up close as well, from what I understand. with some of the pilots that he works with and communicates with in the Navy, and just the fact that they've never been a threat
Yeah.
to any planes, any pilots. Yes, they show themselves. Can they make some maneuvers that could be considered threatening to people in the FAA? Of course. But there's never been an instance, at least from what we've been seeing out here, our own eyes, our own investigations, along with the things and people that we communicate with and talk to, there's never been any type of aggressive action from the
Yeah.
awards. Okay.
Yeah.
And when I look at them, and I have some videos that show them very close, and they'll let off an energy source, and you can see that it's just a bright energy source. It definitely has intelligence. It's just
Yeah.
amazing. Right?
Yeah. You can
Whereas
tell.
the orange craft that I showed you
Yeah.
just is completely
Yeah.
different movements and how it moves. And you could say it's just a different race, a different being. Now, the other hypothesis, the other theory that I have, Commander, is that the only other thing that I can think is, and only because I've seen so much, and I've seen craft come from the water, and then I've actually seen these orbs come from these crafts sometimes. Okay,
Mm.
and so my theory was that as we have drones as humans, and now we have in the military fifth and sixth generation fighters. In fact, we have the
Yeah.
NGAD, and China just basically put out their sixth generation fighter, and they have command centers that will control these wingmen. The wingmen are the drones now, so they fly in
Yeah.
coordination with the plane, and there could be
Oh
10
wow.
drones around them, right? Why wouldn't the UFOs, UAPs, have
Right.
their own drones? Why wouldn't
Right.
they have their own drones setting out and
Well,
maybe going around our craft in closer, closer inspections, or come along our beaches and
right.
look at us up close, but not a drone as in a fixed craft like we would have with our technology, a
Yeah.
drone that is an energy source that
Hmm.
they can control. And so that
Well,
would be my other theory.
in the 60s, there were a person named Dr. Frank Stranges, which was a friend of mine. He was on my show before he died several years ago, about almost over 7 years ago. And in 2009, I had him on the show, and he talked about Valiant Thor, which is a very well
Yes,
known story.
that's who I
I
mentioned earlier about when I said Thor. I
Yeah,
left out the Valiant
Valiant Thor. So
Thor.
Dr.
Yes.
Strangers and I were friends. We never met each other, but he was on my radio show. We talked on the phone quite a bit. And he wrote many books that are out of print. And he would be picked up by the space people in Las Vegas in an old car and taken out to Lake Mead, which is a true story. I know this to be true. And
Wow.
he was taken on board the Victor 1, which was the spaceship, the main spaceship of all the ships. It was the big ship cloaked
Sure.
over the lake. There were about 200 scout ships in the day that were monitoring the planet. They were smaller craft. The Victor 1 was a very large craft that was cloaked so the government couldn't monitor it or anything. He'd go on the ship, whatever his age was. When he went on the ship, he looked like a young man. When he went off the
Wow.
ship, he looked his age. When he went on the ship, he looked like a young man. This is all true. I knew Dr. Strange's personally, and
Amazing.
so I had a he wrote a movie script before I let you go for a major motion picture regarding Stranger at the Pentagon, which is based on a true story about Valiant Thor. Everyone should read that book.
Yes.
If you want to
Wow.
know, everybody should read that book. That book is based on a true story, and it will tell you about Valiant Thor, who's real. Valiant Thor had uh, been in New Jersey. There was a photo of him in a group of human beings in New Jersey that had a meeting
Yes.
somewhere in New Jersey, and you can see his brother Don and two other sisters, and they were
Wow.
old Venusians. They were human, and you can see that they were a little bit taller than the average human, and they were wearing very proper clothing. But that was the very few times that they came publicly out in a group like that.
Yes. I've heard the
But
same
it,
story. Yes.
yeah.
Heard the
So
same
Valiant
story.
Thor,
Very intriguing
yeah.
about Valiant Thor, and then going in front of our world organizations and giving
Oh
the speech
yeah.
and talking about, and
he
just
went into the White House
Yes.
and they were interested in his space outfit more than what he came to Earth to do, which was to help us, become a peaceful world. They were not
Yes.
interested in that. They were interested in his technology.
Sure.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, it's really unfortunate where our military has taken this,
yeah,
and that is
yeah,
really the unfortunate part. Us as people are loving beings, and we would love to connect and with our star family, of course, the other beings that are out there, but unfortunately, we don't have that control over our military, and they're doing
yeah.
things that are just incomprehensible.
And tomorrow night, when you watch my show with me and April on Ashtar Command, we're going to have information that nobody knows about. We have information that I can't speak about now because it's going to be very important tomorrow night. And what we're going to tell you is going to blow your mind. What we're going to tell you tomorrow night is something that is being done. I'll just put it to it this way: between negative ETs and our government,
Yes,
and we're going to expose it tomorrow night.
I'll be there. Looking forward to it.
All right, Dave. Thank you so much, man. I
My
appreciate you.
pleasure. Always a pleasure, Commander. Yep. I'll always
All right.
keep you updated on what's going out there on the live stream.
Absolutely, that's what we all work together. That's why the show brings people together, like Dave, and these are the things that make disclosure happen. You're not going to get it on a Stephen Greer podcast. You're going to get it on this show, and it's not because I said that. It's because it's the truth. In three
Yes.
years, I've exposed more truth here than you're going to get on any YouTube channel.
Absolutely.
So there you go. Hey, Dave, thank you, man.
My pleasure. Thank you,
Always.
Commander. Thank you.
I would check out his channel, UFO Webcam, and also on YouTube. We're going to bring him down and out there in Florida. And we're going to bring up some more guests. If you wish to be a guest, you got to be over 18. It's an early night, and we'll be here till 1. This is Encounters, the late night spiritual UFO talk show. I need everybody to share and follow. If you're not following my live, become a follower. If you want to get me to get up there on the likes, it says 39.4 on the top screen. That means 373 people need to tap. If there's only 5 people tapping, it doesn't get up there that quickly. But if everybody gets involved, we'll get up to 100,000 probably before midnight. That would be kind of an awesome thing to do. So definitely, if you wish to be a guest, there's somebody in queue right now. If you've got information to share, if you're somebody with top security clearance that wants to come on the show, we've had people before who are in the DOD that are just fed up with the lies, and you want to come on here for the first time. If you have top security clearance and you've been in the military, and you want to come forward with information regarding what you know, you're willing to have you on the show here tonight on Encounters. So welcome all the new people. Please follow. I'm going to see who's in the queue. Nick Coleman, I think it is. So Nick is going to be up here next as our second guest on Encounters. You're watching Encounters. We're here from 11 p.m. Eastern in the United States to 1. This is the #1 UFO spiritual talk show here on social media. Let me see if we can get Nick on here. Unless the TikTok keeps spinning around here. If TikTok technically doesn't work right, then we might disappear. And again, there's a lot going on. And tomorrow night, what we're going to be talking about, we have to keep it sort of under the lid right now until tomorrow night, because what we're going to tell you is going to be something that shouldn't be happening on the planet, and you need to know about it. Every single person on this planet needs to know the truth. What we're going to tell you tomorrow night is going to awaken you to stuff that's happening on our planet that should not be happening. Okay? So if I'm enticing you a little bit, he probably had a problem. There you go. Hey, Nick, why do you? Okay, so anyway, there's a lot going down. As we're getting into this year, there's a lot happening. There's some really, when we get into what we're going to tell you tomorrow night, you're going to be sad. You're going to be upset with what's going on, but you're going to know the truth. You're going to know the truth. And that's what we tell you here. We bring you the truth. Let me see here. Star Knowledge. I'm going to bring Star Knowledge up here on Encounters. Yeah. And that will be tomorrow night at 11 o'clock Eastern. Hey,
How's it
Eddie, how
going?
you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Let me turn my volume up a little. There we go.
And for those that don't know Eddie, he's with the Star Nation. He also is a good friend of ours for a number of years on the show, and is, I guess, involved in all kinds of stuff that's in really important conferences to enlighten people and expand consciousness. So let's get some updates from you. What's happening? What's been happening at the conferences? Things are really crazy right now. What's going on?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's all part of the process. I mean, we've been getting stuff together here so we can get our butts back home in South Dakota, but we're not in any rush because of the winter. But yeah, the Star Knowledge stuff is moving along. I know on Facebook they just started a group for people that want to learn more about Star Knowledge. Um, so I wish I had more information. It's they're doing a oh gosh, I can't remember what it's called, but they're doing a group where they're teaching I think it's every week. They're going to be sharing the Star Knowledge, and this is uh, Linda Blackburn. She's been doing this work with her husband for over a decade, probably about 15 to 20 years, I'd say.
Hmm.
They used to travel with Chief Golden Light Eagle. He wrote the books. Oh, I don't have them in here. But yeah, I mean, I've been talking with a lot of people about a lot of different things, and about things that are going on. Who there was a couple of different people that went to the inauguration that we know. One of them is Laura Eisenhower, which is
Oh yeah,
uh,
Laura. Yeah.
oh yeah, you know Laura. So yeah, she was just there, and Dannon Brinkley was there as well.
I know Denon vaguely, but Laura I know better.
Yeah. So yeah, I've known Laura for a couple of years now, and Daniel, I met. I think I met him 2 years ago, and so we're all they come and speak at the conferences, and yeah, Care Bear. Oh no, never mind. I thought she was talking about Carrie. So yeah, I'm talking with because she said Care Bear, but
Oh,
Carrie Black Elk is what's his name? Black Elk's his there's a author and native chief. His last name is Black Elk. Um, so we've been talking about like just on a one-on-one basis about what they're learning from, because they travel to South America all the time. So all
yeah.
these chiefs and these people there, so they're collaborating because they in their ceremonies. And I know a lot of people don't understand like what the importance of like a native ceremony would be, but
Yeah.
the truth of it is that the Hopi, Navajo, Lakota, Dene, they still practice a lot of the ways, and a lot of these ways came from the Star Nations. They came from the Star people. So
Yeah, absolutely.
it's a way of communicating back with our Star family. So.
Hmm.
Um, we were talking about like the different ships and like the different the things that they know, and then the things that they get to experience. So what's more important is our experiences, not so much just knowledge. Knowledge is great, but when you actually have the opportunity to have like what you have, and what's her name that's coming on tomorrow?
Oh, April
April. Yeah.
from
So
Vermont.
there's a lot of people on here that are watching that they want to have these experiences as well, and it's really simple what I've learned. um, Imagine there's a peaceful race that you want to come in contact with. Well, you have to set the tone by setting your own vibration to that tone, and they're more than willing to come for you to either talk to them from afar, like just passing by in a ship, saying, "Hey, we hear you." Because a lot of people, will feel like, well, there's nothing special about me. That why would a UFO
Right. That's the
alien
common.
race
Yeah.
want to contact me? And
Why
it's
me?
Right. What exactly? Like, why? What makes me so special is the fact that I've seen dozens. I've had so many encounters with beings, mostly from far away. Um, I think the last time I told you, I came out of lodge, and I looked at the Pleiades and I was like, "Wow, yeah."
Yeah, I
I
remember
hear
that.
messages in the lodge, and then next thing you know, I'm seeing their ships, and I'm like, "Oh,
That's right.
you know." Uh, so these all the stuff that's happening. When we're talking about the stellar beings, right? Because you guys were mentioning the what did he call them? He said he calls them angels. Like a lot of people call them
Angels,
angels.
angelic. Yeah,
Yeah. But
angels.
they're an evolved stellar being. And what I mean stellar is like we're all made of stars. Everything that comes from us comes from the galaxy, comes from the
Right.
universe. And we have to understand that inside of us, we're all of it. Like the soul thing is actually it's stellar. It's
Yeah.
solar.
And
You know.
our molecular structure, Eddie, is universal. Our molecular structure is
Absolutely.
part of the universe. We sometimes separate that, don't we, as human beings? We say there's the universe, there's us. There's no us in the universe. We're all part of the molecular structure of the universe.
Yeah. In Mount Shasta, that's the big saying when people start, when we start pointing and saying, the beings from, and people will say, you are the universe. We've just forgotten that we're a part of
Yes.
something greater. One of the things that we've been discussing is because it's kind of important for uh, a lot of people to understand why why they used to call the natives braves, right? But it wasn't the fact that they were just brave. It's to take a leap into the unknown, and that unknown gets you in touch with nature. So there was a lot of rites of passage for you to when to go into nature, and then you come out of it and you're fully connected to the birds, the animals, the trees, the
Yeah.
grass, the wind, and you have that connection. So nobody was special by any means. When they say a medicine man, that was just someone that you know they collected the herbs and the things that were necessary. People gave them all of that stuff. So if you needed it, they had it. He or she had it.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was it. I mean, that was the medicine man. You need the medicine, they have it because they're the carriers of it. But
Yeah.
they put a different importance on it. I'm trying to say about that they were the medicine man.
Yeah.
It's like no. Everybody knew about the medicines. They knew how to use them. They knew how to cook them. They knew how
And
to.
I can also tell you, Eddie, when I met this woman, my wife and I, years ago, she had a little shop in Connecticut. It was a little blue house, and it said, Native American. We went there, and we hit it. We ended up having a connection with her, and she was an amazing person. And then when we went in for the first time, this very tall man with a hat on, and he was a Hopi
Mm-hmm.
Indian
Yeah.
elder. He didn't say a word. I looked at him because I read energy. I said, he has knowledge. This person, I'm looking at him, he's smiling, and I'm saying, you know. And when I said that to myself, I said, he knows what the star people are. He knows this. We didn't talk. I just looked at him. I felt like really happy to meet him. And he didn't say a word. And the silence told me everything I needed to know without a word. It was just his expression that told me it. And so that's the way I connect. And when we talk about the Hopi and other spiritual elders from other indigenous tribes, they have the star knowledge, like you were saying, of the space people because in the generations of the spiritual elders, they actually have met the space people physically, which
Yeah.
is the truth.
Oh yeah.
They did. That's why they
They
can
still
pass it
do.
down to generation, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, they still have contact with them. And that brings me to something that I had a conversation with a buddy of mine, and we get into these really deep conversations about just our awareness about the things that him and I. It's like it's like two people that know a lot about a specific subject can talk about, but everybody else looks at you like, what are you guys talking about? So I had told him about an experience when I went to Chichen Itza. I went to the pyramids, and what ended up happening was I took something that he gave me, which was this resin, and I went on the solstice, and I gave it to I did a little ceremony, and then next thing you know, a friend of mine was with me, and I went back to her because I did the ceremony by myself. She didn't want to be a part of it because you weren't supposed to go where I went to the pyramid, and we started hearing voices in the jungle. We started hearing people walking,
Really?
footsteps next to us. They touched us, like they touched me, and then she was taking pictures of the pyramid, and I said, "Stop! Put your hands by your side." And she felt them touch her. She went, "Oh, what is going on?" And I said, "Just wait." And then we went and sat, and they were throwing pebbles at us, and there was nobody there, right?
Really?
You couldn't see them. You couldn't see them, and so she goes, "Are you going to tell me what's happening?" I said, "They're here." And she said, "Who's here? The Maya?" I said, "Yes, they're here." And she said, "Are they like spirits?" Or I said, "No. They're in another dimension that we can't see. It's just we have a visual spectrum here, but they're in a higher or a lower spectrum,
higher vibration." So the Mayan, when they went into the high vibration, from my knowledge, beyond what we've been told, that the original Mayan were actually, they came from the stars. They were space people.
Well, all of us did.
Yeah, we all did. And
they kept the knowledge. They kept it alive through stories.
Yeah.
So here's my point. Here's my whole point about this. This is what got me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about this. So I had raised my vibration by doing this small ceremony, and then they came to us. I guess I had only raised my vibration enough to where they could see me, but I couldn't see them. Right? And my buddy says, "You were right there at the door." He said, "Now imagine knowing now what you know, and going into that ceremony next time, raising your vibration even higher, and then you'll be able to communicate with them." I said, "That's how the natives do it, because when we drum and we sing and they're just like putting all of their power and energy into it." And I went, "I get it now. I get it now." So the next time I go and do something, I'm not going to hold back, because I haven't reached that threshold. I've only hit the threshold myself.
Yeah.
But my point is because we have an audience, and that's I'm trying to get people to understand that that's inside of all of us.
Yeah, it is. We don't realize
the UFOs. If you want to have these experiences,
oh my God, yeah,
raise your vibration.
That's the key, folks out there around the world. I see people's comments. If we all raise our vibrations, Orion, thank you for the gifts. If everyone out here watching the show around the world, if we all, spend time as the elders do, as the different generations of indigenous tribes, spiritual elders do, it's all about raising the vibrations. Why do you think the Hopi and other star nations have had contact with space people every generation before current technology? Why do you think that is? Because they knew how to connect with the star people, because they raised the vibrational frequency of the whole body. And if we actually do that as a collective human race, if we allow ourselves to take the time for ourselves, beyond all the crazy things in this 3D world, to just take the time, even if it's 1 hour a day, to sit just quietly with nothing going on, no one yelling at you, no one laughing, no one telling jokes, family members not bothering you. Just get a space for yourself and raise your vibration. 1 hour a day. Raise your vibration. And that's all you got to do. And if you raise your vibration, people say, when are the space people going to contact us as human beings? We can make the contact consciously, but you have to raise the vibration. It's not like Eddie or me or Joe or Jane are special. It's just that we take the time to raise our vibration to that level, and we just have to be at the vibrational level that they are actually existing in. Just like the story about the Mayan that you're talking about with the pebbles, they're at a vibrational level. They can see you. You might not see them, but they can touch you because you're almost there. You're not quite there, but they can touch you because you're almost near their vibration. If you were at their vibration, you would see them.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people that keep saying how. Now listen, it's there is no specific way. There's you can drum, you can sing. When I say when we're saying raise your vibration, what we mean is when you're happy, it creates a different resonance in your brain, right? So your brain waves move faster, which is a static field that's moving faster. That's raising the vibration. So whether it's dancing around, being ecstatic, feeling bliss, listening to good music, meditating, ice baths, sweat lodges, anything that's going to make you feel good, and then all of a sudden when it's like when you pluck that high guitar string, because it is a resonance, a guitar, like the high guitar string is a resonance, right? So but the key is when you get and you feel it, stop and feel it. Feel that resonance within yourself, and the next thing you know, you'll feel the vibration in your body like pulsing, and you'll go, I'm there. There is no later. I need to go higher, or I need to be lower, or I need to. There is not that. You just.
And there are times also, and someone's saying, Valola says, does it help to be vegan?
It depends.
Maybe, I mean, it depends. I think it just means that you just, when you eat food, for example, even if you're not a vegan or whatever, my friend Jan.24th in LA always would put her hand over the food. So you would eat like chicken or something. And I said, why do you do that? She says, because I'm actually cleansing the vibrational frequency of the food I'm eating. I said, oh, this is years ago. She told me this. I said, oh, I want to do that. So just put your hands up and put it over the food. Okay. And says, just focus on clearing the vibrational frequencies of the food you're eating. I said, okay. And says it'll clear the food. So when you digest the food, it's at a higher vibrational frequency than it was before you ate the food.
Yeah, so you're saying the tone.
So Athena, who's a wonderful person, used to write for Sedona Journal. She did the voice of the Ashtar Command on BBS Radio in California for many years. She knew a lot. She knows a lot of the people out there, contactees. She would go out when she come to the East Coast, go to a diner, and she put her hands over the food before eating it and bless the food. And I never, thought of that until I met her. And then after many years of knowing her, when I go somewhere, I bless my food before I eat it. Right. Just for the vibrational purposes.
Oh, absolutely.
And if people do that, you might not think, oh, when I eat dinner at the home with my family or by myself, should I put my hands over the food? You palm your hands. But you can cleanse the food and cleanse the vibrational frequency. And then when you digest the food, what you're doing, everybody, is increasing the frequency of what you're digesting. And you might not think that's true, but it is true that if everything you bless, everything you drink, everything you put into your physical body, when you amp up the frequencies, and I have the ability with the palm of my hands to do that, and everybody really does, but you don't know it, some maybe, that you up the vibration of your food, it gives an energy frequency into your body that is of a high vibration, not of what the food was before you started eating it. And that's just one little, put love into it. And that's just one little thing, right? So I think it's really important for people now, as we're getting into all these things that are happening in the sky, all these sightings of these different orbs, all the increased sightings that are going to happen through this year, that we have to prepare ourselves, and it's not so much saying out there, I want to see something, I want to have something show up, it's not about that. It's about, you got to get yourself together on a cosmic spiritual level first before the contact happens. I keep saying this, and I can't say it enough. Every single human being out here watching this show, the most important thing, and I said I would talk about this tonight, is how to increase your vibrations for contact. That is part of the topic tonight. And how do you do that? And I know, Eddie, you can chime in on this too. Part of it is focus. And meaning, if people say they go outside to a beach, say, well, how come I don't see a space starship or a spaceship? Well, again, if you are focused on Christ consciousness, and I'm not talking about earth-based conscious 3D world, I'm talking about cosmic Christed consciousness. There is a thing called cosmic Christed consciousness. If you're not elevated to that consciousness, know what it is, ask me a question. I can tell you right off the bat that the way you're going to do this is to focus. I mean, I'm like really amped up here. You're going to get focused and disciplined, and it has to be disciplined. So if you go on a beach with 2 or 3 people, all 3 of you better be focused. All 3 of you better be in that state of consciousness that is not like whacked out in some other frequency. Because if you sit there and you look at the space and you say to yourself, with your eyes closed, I really want to meet my star family. Can you show me one of your ships? I really, really care. I really want to know you. I really want to see you. I want to understand you. And if you go in with a real commitment, they'll hear it, but they're going to hear it through consciousness. They're not going to hear it through your words. They're going to hear it, everybody, through your consciousness. And we have to start talking about that now, because we are getting into a period of time this year where there will be contact. I mean, there's already contact with individual people. That's been going on for over 70 years. Now it's going to amp up, quadruple the contact, right, Eddie? There's going to be more people to experience this thing in a very personal way. So I want everybody to take the time when they ask me about how do you do this, you have to clear your consciousness. You have to focus on your vibrational patterns, and you have to figure out what you're going to do. And a lot of it, I always say, use like higher vibrational music. That is a really important way of doing it. Music is, I mean, I love high vibrational music. I can get into a hypnotic, trance or something, and I'll use in YouTube. There's a lot of that stuff. I'll listen for an hour, and I'm in a whole nother consciousness. And you can put yourself in any consciousness you want, but the most important consciousness is the cosmic spiritual consciousness. If you're at that level, then you're ready to make contact. This way, when the space people arrive, they're operating in a higher state of spiritual consciousness. You as a human being have to operate in a completely different consciousness. And we don't talk about that much on the show here, but we should, because that's going to be really important when contact happens.
Yeah. You know, there's a lot of people that are watching right now here that I'm sure they're in a position that we were in when we first started, where we felt so far away from it. So I want to encourage those of you that are new, that are coming into this experience and want to have more. You want to be closer to everything that we're talking about, because it can seem foreign, or it can seem like well, I don't think I'm worthy, and it's not about being worthy. It's about putting in the work and putting all the BS aside, and putting it in the corner and going, okay, well, we're gonna leave that there, and then we're gonna listen to what they're saying. I'm gonna see if it works, and if it works, then good. If it doesn't, then you find a way that works for you. So
yeah,
don't be discouraged. Don't allow the monkey mind to discourage you from this. What we're talking about, this celebration that's coming, because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to experience it, and they're going to be very afraid. And there's for us, we're celebrating it. We're going, we are ready. We are ready. We've been doing this work. We're ready for it. And if you don't have a hand of someone like your own hand to lift you up, find someone's hand that you love and trust, that is ready for this. And as soon as you get, again, you feel it, you'll go, okay, I can do this, because you're already a part of it. You were born into it. Don't be discouraged going, well, I was raised in the ghetto and with gunshots and this and that firing around and all this negative stuff happening. It doesn't matter. I grew up that way too, and I had no idea that I just said, you know what, if there's something to this, I'm gonna find out, and if it's BS, I'm gonna find out that too, and if it's BS, then my life would be completely different. And I'll tell you, like, the friends that I made, I think I told you last time, one of my friends was Carter C.C. Collins. Now that's probably, it's not a household name now, but back in the 70s, he was a household name. He was a blind drummer. That I mean, he's if you look up Carter C.C. Collins online, you know, you'll see that he's got a discography, and I mean, so many credits and so many things that he's done.
Yeah.
So yeah, he said, "Don't bitch out." So you know, yeah. I mean, be brave in your moments where you don't feel so brave, because next thing you know, you're gonna meet all these different people that are just like amazing people. Like, you know, I never thought I would, you know who Laura Eisenhower, James Gilliland, and you know, all these different people I got to meet being in the Star Knowledge. And I wasn't even looking for Star Knowledge. It fell in my lap. I didn't.
It was a synchronicity of something in the universe that said you're supposed to be there.
It came to me. I attracted it. I didn't realize I was attracting it.
You did. You know, as we're sitting here, I'm under a realization. This is really interesting, and I know this to be true. If I really, really, really wanted a space person to be in this room right now, and I just am sitting here, we're having this discussion. I'm not going to do this.
Not yet.
I just not going to do it yet, but I have the knowledge and the realization right as we're discussing this. I'm hearing the voice. You can bring a space person and invite them into your room right now, and they would be there.
Yes.
I can bring in a space person, folks, right now. I'm not going to do this yet. I'm not testing my ability to do that. It's not so much I have control of the situation. It's not about control. It's about invitation. It's about invitation. If I say right now that I want to have one of my space Ashtar command guards who's here guarding show themselves with me for once, if I really, really strongly vibrate that frequency, come on now, you know, join me, hang out with me, show yourself. Right. I could probably do it. I can probably do it.
No, you could. You could, not probably.
No, I know I could do it. I'm using that word. I'm being very subtle, but I actually know I can do it.
Yeah,
I have no question.
You're trying to be humble.
And that's the one thing I could tell you. I am, you know, not egotistical whatsoever. And I know we have space guards, the 5 of us in the group of 5 with April. We have what we call space guards guarding us and protecting us. They're with us all the time. They don't appear to show themselves. A matter of fact, Half Pint, who's Mary and Ray, they were on. They said one of my space guards was touching me on my shoulder. They saw it on the camera. Now I have to watch my last show from last night and go towards the end where that happens so I can watch it and see it. But people, I said, you are the only one to see it? I had a number of people that said they were able to see the space person with the hand touching my shoulder. I didn't see anything. But, you know, I do understand that she said to me, sometimes, Commander, you don't realize it. They're right there, right behind you.
All the time. You know, and that's the thing is, you know, we're not opening up, when we say we're opening up portals, we're not opening up something that is outside of us.
Right.
We're opening up something that's inside of us. So I'll give you an example. Robin and I were having a discussion kind of very similar to this, and we were at our house in South Dakota, and I said, let me show you. And so I stood back, I put my arms out, and I raised the energy, then I felt it, and next thing you know, I lit up, and there was a Sasquatch standing behind me, and I didn't see it because it's standing behind me, but I opened my up myself to my light, to the light that's within, and she saw a Sasquatch, and she says, there's a Sasquatch standing behind you. I said, of course there is, of course. You know, why wouldn't there, you know, I'm shining a light and you're seeing something that is with me. Right.
And you're seeing the Sasquatch, and the Sasquatch actually speaks many languages. The Sasquatch is a star being itself. But most people who think about the Sasquatch don't know the Sasquatch puts on a vibration depending on the person. So if you're there to attack a Sasquatch or its family, it's got a high intelligence rate. It's going to protect itself and go away from you because they know you're being hostile. If you're there to communicate with a Sasquatch and you say, I understand you are much higher intelligence than people, in human population understand, the Sasquatch is going to communicate in English. My friend April in Vermont, the Sasquatch are working with the Ashtar Command. They speak in our languages. They speak multiple languages. They're not this thing, how people watch on TV, these ridiculous shows, and they all do it. They make the Hollywood makes these audio things of the Sasquatch yelling and screaming like they're ready to bite somebody. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what Hollywood does. That's exactly what the Discovery Channel, History Channel, when they do the shows about Sasquatch, or some of these like serious shows where people are doing it. Even the most serious ones, they show the sound of a Sasquatch is supposed to be yelling and screaming like it's a horrifying yell. Yet the Sasquatch are highly intelligent beings. Mm-hmm. They have families. They can speak multiple languages. The Earth population understanding of Sasquatch is very limited because we've been brainwashed to believe that the Sasquatch are these things that are big and they'll throw rocks at us if they don't want us near them. That's not what the Sasquatch are about. That's all misinformation about the Sasquatch. Yeah. And I spent a number of years quietly learning about them. And with April's knowledge that she has in Vermont and in the woods out in the middle of nowhere, they come out, the Sasquatch come out and they visit her. They speak languages. The Sasquatch helped the Ashtar Command. They've been with the ships up there. They are integrally a part of what's happening with contact. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be making them, let me tell you something. The Sasquatch are going to be making themselves known when contact happens. The Sasquatch are not going to hide themselves anymore. The only reason that the Sasquatch have been hidden is because of the human population's aggressiveness towards them. We in every generation, we have been very aggressive against the Sasquatch. We don't understand the Sasquatch, so we are aggressive towards them, and that needs to stop. That there's a learning curve that we have to get to be.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole. We're coming to our greater understandings when we do this. Anytime we learn to shine our light, our inner light, what ends up happening is we start to understand like why we have this aggressive nature, and it's all based on fear and survival. This like inner thing that we've had since for millennia, right? For millions of years even. And it's an animal instinct, and that's the whole thing is we're dealing with people that are smart, that that run governments and all these different things, and they know this about human nature, so they program on the TV and on all the whatever they can, how they program even commercials. They program everything to keep us at a lower, to keep us dense,
right?
At a lower density. And the purpose is, if you knew your power, then you wouldn't need them. I traveled for years without a job, without income. I traveled for years with nothing, and I didn't pull the whole Buddhist thing, but what I did was I said, well, I know how to manifest, mm-hmm. And I had this conversation with Robin, I think it was yesterday. I said, the whole manifestation thing is, it's not about the thing that you want. It's not about that. What manifest actually means is, it means to be able to see, to be able to see. So if you can see something in your mind, then if you can retain that thing that you can see, then eventually it goes from here and it pops out into here, pops out into that.
So, it's absolutely true. Yeah. And that's the whole thing. So, like I said, even the most serious shows about the Sasquatch, and if the commander ever gets infuriated, I don't watch a lot of TV, but I do like to watch documentaries and see where they're going, whether they're going to be sensationalistic. And there used to be a series of these, I call them yahoos. They'd wear like camouflage outfits, and they were supposedly from, like in this case, in a southern state, Kentucky or wherever they were. And they supposedly were going out there with little blanks to go after and capture a Sasquatch. So they had a wooden shack, and they were going to capture the Sasquatch, put him in the shack, and lock him in the shack. All right. So get this. Now you couldn't get more ridiculous on this concept of reality, and you're thinking, okay, these guys are doing a show about Sasquatch, but their whole show is focused on capturing a Sasquatch or Bigfoot. And I'm watching these guys, and I'm watching it for one reason, because of my media background. I'm wondering what the purpose of the show is. And I remember it was a couple of years ago, it would be on every, like once a week on, I think, Discovery or History or one of those channels. And I found it to be really repulsive in the sense that these guys had these blanks, and they were going after the Sasquatch. And they would hear them knocking, and they were trying to capture one. And supposedly they did get one in a shack. It was like an outhouse, bigger than that. And the thing got out of there, obviously, and supposedly, if it was a true story, not somebody, not hypothetically, made up. It could have been made up too. But they really were trying to say, this is the way we're going to do it. And that gives a bad rap for the Sasquatch, because they're promoting the idea of you got to go after them with, some sort of a weapon, and you got to go after them. That's the way you're going to go after them. So what does that do to the human race? What's the psychology of that? And that infuriated me, because, you have all kinds of people watching the show each week, and their concept is, we're going to do it this way, and this is going to give us a lot of ratings, and people are going to watch us. And I think part of it was hype, but it was the worst hype ever to do about a subject that's so important to our planet, which is the Sasquatch. And now there's a scientific group of people that were really good. They went out there on a level to make communications. They wanted to communicate, but they thought the communication was repeating the sounds of a Sasquatch. So Sasquatch would make a certain noise, and they communicate with each other. But that's all these scientists know. They don't know that the Sasquatch can speak English, and they have a very high vibrational frequency. Even though they're these hairy, tall beings, that's just not who they are. I mean, they're more than just hairy, tall human beings that are strong. They're very intelligent beings that have family, they have children, they have intelligence. But we don't look at them that way. And if you think about who has more intelligence, the Sasquatch or the common human being on the street of New York, I would venture to say the Sasquatch has more intelligence than people walking down the street of New York or LA or Paris.
Right. See, and
I know that's
the Native Americans. Okay, so have you? I don't know if you've ever heard, they call it an audible. It's a song, right? So there's a lot of songs that don't have words. They're just audio. They call them audibles. So the audibles it's a language that speaks to beings that don't speak Lakota, and so a Sasquatch song would be an audible. So because there was a Navajo man I met that speaks Sasquatch. So when he was doing the yips and the sounds and stuff, I said that must have been a difficult language to understand. He said, no, because when I was able to make contact with the Sasquatch, when they decided to speak to me, I heard it in the yips and the whoops, and I heard all of the sounds, but I also heard it being translated into English, and so he heard it, and so he was able to learn it very quickly. But he had to pay attention to all of the different ways that this dialect was used. So they've known for thousands of years the language of the birds are the language of the Sasquatch, the language of the elk. So they, if you ever listen to the songs, Lakota songs, there's no words to that, and it's like, well, you don't know the language.
Right, the language. And Lenny is saying here, when I was a kid in the late '60s, my father knew Sasquatch. They came through portals. This is when she was a kid.
Yeah.
So I know there are people in my audience that have had experiences, stories that can be told. And Cassie666 says, yes, it is like a light language in a different vibration. Let's see. Let's see here. Any other comments in the thing here? But, so all these things Eddie and I are talking about and the knowledge that we're speaking of is based on really history and truth. And Eddie speaks from a great deal of knowledge from being with the elders and the spiritual elders who have connections with all of this that we're talking about now. And I think it's crucial that everybody watching this show, and we actually hit 103,000. Thank you, everybody. Keep tapping. Please follow me. If you're not following me, press on my bio the follow button. Everybody should be following me here. And if I don't mention it enough, please do. I'd appreciate it. And get other people to follow me that you think should be following me too. And also follow Eddie because he has a lot of interesting information. There's a lot of stuff going. I know one day you're gonna have me abducted to speak at one of the conferences about what I know. You're just gonna have to, and you can abduct me anytime. You know that. I'm certainly available. Hopefully in this more warmer weather. It's really rigidly cold up here in New England, but
so you know Daniel. You met Daniel?
I not met him. I've heard of him. I think he's on Facebook. I know of him. But
sweetheart. Very, very beautiful man.
Yeah. I know of Laura Eisenhower. She communicated with me a while back about I talked to her about coming on doing, I don't know if she has TikTok or not, but I'd like to get her on here. I think I'd like to. If anyone doesn't know who Laura Eisenhower is, she's the granddaughter of Eisenhower, and she is very enlightened. She's a really beautiful being, a person, really extraordinarily beautiful, and she has a lot of knowledge. So we're going to try to. I don't know if she has TikTok. I don't know if maybe you can check with her. But if she's on, she needs to get on TikTok and come on the show. We're gonna have to kind of get her away from the Facebook. She needs to go off the Facebook. Yeah, she's really is amazing, folks. If you've heard of Laura Eisenhower, she is, and we communicated message-wise on Facebook a while ago. But I really want to get her on the show here. Yeah. I think everybody, like I said, she has a lot of knowledge. I think she might be on YouTube too, Chuck Norrie.
She is.
But yeah, she is. Yeah, so we'll see. I'm on YouTube. All my shows are uploaded. And Eddie, I want to thank you, man, for coming on here. Keep in touch with me and let me know when it gets warmer out when you want to have me go and speak in front of a lot of people. I'll be happy to do it based on my own knowledge on what I deal with here, and we'll blow their minds.
Absolutely. Yeah. You'll appreciate the crowd.
Okay.
You'll be in your element for sure.
I'm looking forward to that when it gets warmer.
Absolutely.
We'll plan that. We'll plan that quietly ahead. So as we spoke.
I'll message you.
Okay, everybody. Eddie, Star Knowledge. Follow him. Star Knowledge Podcast. He's a great friend of mine, and we met here on TikTok, and we become like that. And he's a really cool dude, and just a lot of knowledge, and you'll learn a lot from Eddie as well. How could people be in touch with you on things that if they want to see what you're doing? How could people get in touch with you in terms of that level?
Oh, okay. Well, there is a YouTube channel where we're going to launch the Star Knowledge Podcast by the middle of this year. We have a lot going on, in our lives, but there's products and this and that we're working with, and building and all these different things. But we're definitely going to get the podcast going. You can reach out to me here. My name is Eddie Hinesley. You can reach out to me on Facebook. Hearts Fire Magic on Instagram. I should consolidate everything. Yeah. but you reach out to me. We're going to be talking to a festival about bringing their festival together with Star Knowledge, and so it'll be a way for us to practice not just talking and sitting in boring conferences for 3 days, but actually putting things into practice. And
good.
So it's one thing to sit and talk, and talking's nice, but to be able to show people what it is that's inside of each and every one of us and how to bring that out. It's really
Yeah.
easy. It may seem a little scary at first, but once you get the hang of it, then you start understanding
Yeah.
what we're actually made of, what we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Eddie, thank you, brother, for being here. And come on here anytime you pop in here, we'll bring you up, you know.
No worries. No worries,
Okay,
brother.
we're going to let Eddie go back up on the ship. Oh, oh yeah, he's going to go. We'll let him go back on the ship. Anyway, Eddie, take care and star knowledge, and we're going to bring him down. Like, there we go. He's disappeared. He's on the ship. You're watching Encounters, the late night spiritual UFO talk show. I'm CmdrAleon. We are amped up, folks. There's so much going on out there. Don't you feel great? I mean, I do. I've been in. I talked to you a lot. I might wake people up in the house here. That's how amped up I am right now. Man, I'm telling you. We're glad to have all the new people here. I want everyone to follow me by my bio page. Press the little follow button. Okay, press the follow button, and we're at 106,000, 107,000. You're an amazing audience. Okay. Oh, Canada, it's true. It really is. Even in-house TV, that sounds interesting. It is true. It's an amazing time to be here. Polar R. Hey, Polar R. Welcome to Encounters, everybody. Scott DeSantos, welcome. Everybody coming in here, welcome. KB79. All the good people out there around the world, welcome. Thank you, Miss Lindsay. I appreciate that compliment. User 349, Mark. So I know all the people out, I don't know all of you personally. Who has a story to tell here? Who has an encounter to tell? Who has any questions about making contact? Part of what I want to do is help people learn how to prepare to make contact with space people. You know, a lot of people in the UFO media will talk about sightings and everything. We do get into that. We want to know about those things because that's part of what's happening. I'm going to bring up O Canada. This is how I do it randomly. You have to be over 18, no foul language, no drugs on the show, no smoking on the show, no paranormal discussion, no politics, no religion. Oh, Canada has a story for us. Oh, Canada 42. We're going to bring Oh, Canada 42 up on the show here. And let's see here. And no smoking on the show, no vaping on the show, no drugs, no paranormal discussion, no religion, no politics. And no kids on the show, no cursing. Oh yeah, no encounter stories. I'm talking about. I'm just going the guidelines of the show of what we don't want. The encounter stories we do want. Yes. No. Can you bring your volume up on your phone? People say they can't hear you. No problem. I might be. Can people hear him now or no? Okay, I think you're a little bit better now. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry. The people are still saying, everybody's saying they can't hear you at all, actually. Yeah, try it again. They're not hearing you. I'm getting everybody saying that. Yeah, I'm not sure why, but they can't hear you. All right, we'll bring you back up. We're going to take a break for a minute and we'll see if we can get that cleared up. Um, you're watching Encounters. I think, let's see here. Luke, I'm going to try, let's see here. Where's Luke? Luke. I think we have Luke on here. Luke, are you there with us?
Hello.
Hey, Luke. Good evening. How are you?
I'm great. How about you?
Uh, I'm doing good. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Now, you have a TikTok page,
Yes.
and I had time to look at it earlier, and that's why I'm interested in having you on here. I thought you had some great things on the page. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself to my audience, and tell us a little about your stories and what you're actually seeing out there?
Okay, great. So I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I come from a big family. My whole family's pretty religious. I myself kind of have my own independent set of beliefs kind of growing up. So I've kind of grown up in Georgia my whole life. And so honestly, my whole life I've been kind of interested in the unknown, the extraterrestrials. I would say a few years ago, I learned about Stephen Greer's CE5 contact, and did some of the meditations with that. So I have a video even that I posted that went back to like 2020, probably during the COVID years,
Wow.
where I saw craft. I
Yeah.
want to say I've seen orbs as a kid. I can't confirm them because, like I said, I didn't pay a whole lot of attention because I kind of dismissed them until like really the New Jersey drones came up in the news, and I was like, okay, this is really cool. Something told me, I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, they're coming to Georgia. They're gonna be here, and then probably
You'll
like
see
early
them.
December, started seeing them. So I posted a video of one of them right around the same time everybody else did. So it's kind of nice that
Yeah.
it kind of checked with everybody. It is weird how they like started in New Jersey, and then there were so many of them that they had to come on the news. Now they're kind of spread out over the world, where it's like,
All over the place, right?
are they really reverse engineered? Because if they are, one, would they all look alike? Two, what is their source? And three, would they really be in every country in the world? That's what conflicting to me, you know.
And
So
you know what's interesting, Luke, is that I've come after I've watched since New Jersey. Really, New Jersey is what we think they started at, but they've been over other parts of the world before New Jersey, but we didn't know that because our media focuses on our own country and these things.
exactly.
Um, the other thing is some of these so-called drones, which I believe are U.S. government operations by the Department of Defense, some of them, some of the orbs are mimicking drones, and they're able. The higher intelligent orbs can mimic a drone. So I think there's two things going on here. I think we've got drones by the Department of Defense because when the Department of Defense says in their press conferences when this whole thing started, oh, they're nothing to worry about. They're not a threat. Why are the actual drones not a
Yeah.
threat, people? You know the reason why? Now, did anyone ever say in the media, oh,
Right.
in these news conferences in Washington, did anybody ever say, any of these so-called big stations with these newscasters with their, suits on, ever say, oh, are they not a threat because they're operational and the Pentagon's in control of the operation of these drones that are being seen everywhere? No one ever would ask that question of these people at the Pentagon, the press secretary. Why not ask the question? Because the truth is,
Right.
I really do believe that these operational drones, the real drones, are our own government. There's no enemy threat. They're not coming from China or Russia or some other
Wow.
country. We're the ones who have them. They're being sent up from Air Force bases, probably around the country, our own Air Force bases, probably including Wright-Patterson. The drones are being sent up to monitor the non-terrestrial spaceships or craft that are being seen around the planet.
I don't know if I agree with you on the part about them monitoring it. I don't think their sole purpose would be to monitor the
Maybe not,
non-extraterrestrial,
but
just
a little
because
bit.
I've never just. I think we should be more worried about surveillance more than anything. Like if it is ours, I don't think. I don't know. I don't think they would be,
Yeah,
just because I've seen it with my own eyes, and you can look at the video. I mean, like I've seen other
yeah,
videos, other people's videos, where it's just a straight orb, a
yeah.
plasmoid, and then all
Well,
goes
the
like
orbs,
it goes
the
wing and it
plasma,
flies off like a
we
drone.
call them in the UFO community before plasmoids came about. We
Yeah,
call there's a gentleman in
yeah,
Brazil, and he took pictures of large plasma ships. They were orangey beautiful, colorful ships that looked like a plasma energy, but they were spaceships. Now, in 2024, I don't know where this definition of plasmoids came from. I do understand what that is, but I usually like to call a orb that is circular an orb. So if it could be a higher, we had people who talk about some of these orbs in the sky are higher intelligence, like a living consciousness ship or something. And some of these orbs are probably coming from a large spaceship that is cloaked in the outer atmosphere of the planet. So it's a lot of theories of where they're coming from, but these orbs can come in and out of our dimension like in 2 seconds. Pretty cool.
They do seem sentient and all that. There's another guys I've seen his live every night. He's got this orb in his backyard, and he'll ask it questions, and it'll blink. It's like it's listening. It doesn't seem like whether it's the drones come from the orbs or not. They don't seem to respond. But if you catch them, the plasmoids, sometimes they actually have responded to people, which is crazy. I mean, I could tell you a little bit more about my experience when I went on the Puerto Rico trip. That was cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'll start from the beginning, kind of a little background of the story. So I took a kind of a spontaneous trip to Puerto Rico. Had a few days off of work because I go to different schools and stuff. So I had it, with the holidays, it was like an extra day off for the weekend, and I had a cancellation. I was like, hey, let me book a trip. I love to travel. I love going places.
Oh, cool.
So I had a date there. There's this festival going on in San Juan, the San Sebastian Festival. It's like an annual thing. So there's a lot of people there or whatever. I kept my eye out because I was like, hey, I'll be in a plane. Maybe I'll see anything. Didn't really see anything. I think I slept in the plane. The thing about San Juan, Puerto Rico, or that side of the Caribbean is it's pretty easy to distinguish the two if you see anything. And the only reason I say that is because that side of the Caribbean, if you see planes, they're either landing or taking off. Like when our plane was getting lower to the ground, like we were getting low to the ground about to land before we even get in there, because Puerto Rico is a small island. So there's very rare would you see a plane high up in the sky. So you can kind of distinguish between the planes and the drone. I personally didn't see any drones, but the girl I was with, this was like the last night of the trip. She's like, hey, let's go down to the beach. Because like you have to walk 2 miles from the festival to just get an Uber. So we're like, we'll just hang out, we'll relax at the beach. It's like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we'll lay down there. And as soon as we get down on the beach, I'm like, oh yeah, I see an orb right there. Like it's going in and out, it's disappearing, it's popping back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like on the left side of us. And I was like, you see that? And she's like, yeah, I see that. And I was like, you believe in this stuff? She's like, oh yeah, I've had experiences as a kid. Like, but it was like her idea to go here. So this orb disappears, and then it like for a few seconds, and it pops up directly in front of us. So it moves to us basically, and we're like, oh, that is really cool. So we're like, should we talk to it? I was asking questions, didn't really seem to respond to me. I wish I could, but then I was like, maybe you should talk to it in Spanish. Like maybe it's I don't know. So I don't know. We were just kind of keeping an eye on it or whatever. So then I get my phone out. I was like, hey. My friends, they think I'm crazy. I have a little group chat with my friends, but I was like, so I wasn't taking any videos to be serious, but I was like, so, because some of these videos, the TikTok was from Snapchat, because I was just snapping the group chat. I was like, hey guys, look what I saw. And then I was like, and I regret it. What I regret the most. So as I was recording the orb, because we were on the beach for about 2 hours, I was like, hey, look, there's like a ship to the left side. It's like super bright. It looks like it's going where the orb is. That's really funny. Like maybe this boat is investigating it, right? So of course I wish I recorded the boat more. So then I kind of go back and forth. It's in the beginning of the video. So I'm going back and forth. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Once the boat gets right under the orb like kind of disappears, pops up, and then becomes a drone and flies away. Now I stopped recording at this point, but what happens is basically it turns into a drone. We were already looking at it for 30 minutes at this point. Yeah. One place, blinking in and out. It becomes a drone, flies off, basically goes down the beach. Yeah. I want to say, once it disappeared, it came back and became an orb. I don't want to predict if it's path or it was another orb, but it basically left and came back. Now the boat. Go ahead.
I want to. This is what I'm saying. Like the orb can mimic a drone. and then even though it's not really a drone, it mimics a drone, and then it switches back to an orb. What do you think that? And I want you to continue with the story about the boat. But what do you? Isn't that interesting? And then the other part I find interesting: you're on the beach with your lady friend, and it was watching you, came closer to you. It's that goes into the whole thing of this consciousness, like the orb is connecting to you and waiting for a response. Did you feel that you both were in a situation where it wanted to make communications with you?
I felt like it was
Yeah.
observing us the whole time. I wish I could, I'm not going to lie to you. I wish I could say, hey, it was telepathic. I felt all this stuff.
Yeah.
I felt pretty neutral.
Yeah.
I'd have to ask my friend, like, if she felt good. Like, we were at a calm, we were at peace, but emotionally, spiritually, it wasn't anything crazy.
Yeah.
We felt no fear, but that's also kind of the mindset we already have with these things. So, and that's like I said, when I saw the supposed figure, I was kind of doubting if it was an alien, but a lot of people in the comments are like, maybe you saw something.
Yeah.
You would think if I looked right at it, I would feel something. That's the only doubt I have, is not by what
Yeah.
it looks. I don't want to
It was
jump
an
into that
interest,
story.
and that video was interesting. I think I'm going to show that video here.
Yeah.
I think we ought to show that video. I think I have it here. Let me just turn this on. He has a video, and I'm going to leave this open for people to throw their opinion out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it is interesting. You know, it's a really very different kind of video in terms of the footage. And we're going to go to Luke's page here. I'm going to show you a video, everybody, and I want to see what your opinions are on it. And you know, again, I'm still, basically trying to figure it out myself. Let me just do this here, and let me get to the page. Excuse me. All right, let me see if I can do this here. I'm going to type in Luke's thing here. Almost, let's see, and we're going to show you a video here. And I want to get your my viewers' interpretation of what we're going to show you. And it is a really kind of a cool video because it shows something that is definitely different from anything I've ever seen. And let's see, where is it? Okay, here it is. I'm going to show this video. I'm turning off the lights here so we can actually see it. And it looks like there's an energy, or like a translucent energy of a being here. Let me, is that it? Let's see. Here it is. And it is definitely something interesting. I mean, you've got to see this. Let me go to this here so people in the viewership can see this. I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to show this to you, and you can see the energy from it coming. Can you, and I want you to narrate this, Luke, because it is one of the more interesting things out here.
Yeah.
Let me just do this here. I'm going to get my camera off the thing here. All right, here it is. And this is for entertainment purposes only. This is the video here. Tell us where the location of this, when you took this video of this object.
So this is
not object, of the energy.
Yeah. So okay. So there's two things going on. So that's the orb originally. This was later. This is probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours later. We left the beach to get an Uber. Then it canceled on us. So we were like, we have 15 more minutes. We walked down the beach. Then we see the figure, and I'm like, hey, I don't know if I'm seeing anything, but we were here this whole time. You didn't see anything. I didn't see anything over on the right side. Did you? She's like, no. And then there's, as you see, if you go back, there was a flash on the camera, like that. It was like a frame. It like flashed a white light. So I'm looking at it. I'm like, is that a figure? A couple people in the comments, it looked like they said it looks like a gray figure, like alien, and like it's like pet or something. But what's interesting about it is the projection of it is that when I turn the camera over, you can't it's like it doesn't disappear to me, but when I pan the camera over to the orb, it's like it goes off, like there's a frame where it doesn't show it. So I don't know if that's it's like a projection. So if it's a projection, when you move the camera, it goes away, whether it be like a solid third dimensional object, it will still be there in the camera. So it didn't disappear when I turned the camera. But it was just like the boat. And I got to get back to that part of the story. I think that what was crazier to me at the time was seeing the boat just like vanish, like in the water, was more than seeing this figure. Cause I was like, I don't want to get ahead because I want to explain this figure, but I do have a screenshot where you can kind of see eyes, but that's
Yeah,
subjective. Like I said, my other theory was like, okay, maybe this, it's like related with the drones, or they're mimicking things to blend in with the environment. If
yeah.
you were an interdimensional being, you wanted to get closer to somebody but still blend in, what is the closest you could get and still become an object? And in my mind, I'm like a buoyancy or whatever, one of those floating things on the
Yeah.
beaches. So maybe it was mimicking that, to try
It's
to
an
get close.
amazing, but look, it's a
I
really
don't know.
amazing. And as I'm looking at now, I'm going to throw my theory out of what I think it is. I think it's a light being, and this is one theory. So I think it's a light being, and the orb that is there. The coincidence that the orb is there and the light being. This is my theory, is on the beach. So
Mhm.
I think it came from the orb and it was physically there. How far away from you were you from that what I'm going to call it a light being. It could be, everyone can call it what they want.
Right.
Right on the water. Were you able to walk up towards it?
I would have had to go for a little swim. So it doesn't like, okay, obviously the lighting and is kind of adjusted in the video so you can see it better.
Yeah,
It look obviously in the video it looks like it's very shallow water, but I
yeah.
would say if I had to guess, that could have been 7, 8 feet tall. Like I would have had to go for a
Me-
swim, but it
Oh
probably
man,
wasn't that
okay.
far. Maybe like 100,
Yeah,
150 feet in front of me. I'm zoomed in, but the waves really aren't that much in front of where I'm recording. Here's the thing, and I don't want to speculate even more. Like I don't want to
it,
be even more paranoid, but the thing is weird was when I adjusted the contrast and the lighting, it was
yeah,
almost as if the waves behind it weren't even real. But I'm it's probably a reach. But the reason I say that is like I slowed down the waves for like pixelate, like the waves
yeah.
behind it were like it was weird. It was like creating a current. Now that's probably a stretch, but only just
Right.
going through my videos, it was like
But you can, but
something
you're
weird
allowed on
about
my
it.
show to go a stretch if you want to. That's
Yeah,
okay.
it could just be the camera. So I don't want to speculate. I mean, we can
Right.
speculate how like the boat in the water. If you go frame by frame, you'll see an orb. Like you'll see one orb at a time. It's almost like orbs are passing by at lightning speed. So I don't think it's a
And you
mothership, but who
no,
knows?
and
Who knows?
you know what? What's so fascinating is it's a really. I'm going to be posting this tonight before I go to sleep on my main
Yeah.
channel. That your video, and I've look. I've looked at a lot of video, and for many years. That is definitely a video that tells me, and I read energy from things, and I get that definitely was some sort of a translucent being that was a non-terrestrial that wanted to be videotaped. So I think you're the first person on my show to videotape a translucent, radiant being that's showing a form that might be different. And it might not even be showing its complete form, just enough so that you can see it to record it. It wanted to be recorded. You actually documented it. You're the first person, to your credit, of all my guests that have documented what I consider to be a translucent, radiant type of being that is non terrestrial. And the other thing is that's interesting, Luke, the orb that was there above it, I think there's a connection with the
Yeah.
being
Oh
on the
yeah.
beach and that orb. I think there's a connection.
Hmm. Yeah, I definitely think that's possibly what it was. I think I
Yeah,
was in disbelief at the time. I was like, let me record it. Um, Maybe it's because my friends and family, they're not the type of believers. So it was, I mean, so at the time, it would have been cool, I think, to feel something more telepathically. But at the same time,
yeah,
I was like, we're here right now. This is in front of
right.
us. What it was really spontaneous that we were here.
And
You
and
know,
and where was that located? Just because I'm
yeah.
getting this feeling that if you go back to that area and you do like my guest Eddie was on and interviewed, if you
Hmm.
focus with a friend or whatever, or your girlfriend or whatever, on meditating at that beach, I have a feeling that they'll come back.
I think so too. So here's the thing: I don't live there. I was there on vacation. However, she lives over there,
Oh, she does.
Escram Beach. just south of San Juan. I thought it was interesting no one was on the beach because there's a huge festival, tens of thousands of people. This is like right
Hmm.
outside where people get rides. We were the only ones on the beach. There was no one around,
Yeah.
and there were still crowds and crowds of people like right outside the city, and we just happened to be the
Wow.
only ones there. I mean, it was
Yeah.
late at night, but just because there's
Yeah.
a big festival going on, you would think like, how is it that no one else decided to be around? So she lives close to there. She works close to there. I
Hmm.
actually texted her today. I was like, hey, you should go back. Like, they seem to have even.
Are you going to go back there someday with her to hang out?
I'd have to catch a flight, but in the next year or so, I'd love to go back.
Yeah, you should go
It
back.
was a
I'm getting the
fun.
feeling now where you are. Yeah, I think you should do it. I think you
A
should do it.
fun fact: San Juan. That's at the edge of the Bermuda Triangle. So you know,
Ah, interesting. That's, you know
so
what?
we're on the
That's
edge of the
true.
Bermuda Triangle. So now
Very interesting.
I wanted what fascinated me just as much was that ship. Like you see in the video, I didn't pay attention to it because I thought it was like a legitimate ship. What was crazy is that I went to record it. This is right before. This is after the video you see, and then before the clip of the being. I was looking at it through my camera. I was about to press record, and it just looked like a big plasma boat, all these colors. So as I'm
Really?
pressing the record button, it shrinks down. So by the time it caught the video, it's already shrunken down to where it almost looks like an orb. But you can see in the video, it's not the orb. There's an orb above it, but there's the ship in
Yeah.
the water. It
Yeah.
shrinks down. So it shrinks down. Like if I could have pressed record half a second earlier, I could have caught all the whole boat shrink down to about 20% of its size to like the center.
Wow.
It's like glowing underwater. So I don't know if it goes underwater, if it just shrinks down. So it's like shape shifting in the water. And I wish I could have caught it because I'm like, I don't know any other videos like that. I found one person on TikTok that said, hey, check out my video in New Jersey. They saw
Yeah.
something similar. They saw a cloaked boat. I was fascinated by that because it's weird because like I said, I had a dream a few weeks ago where it was like,
Yeah.
could be coincidence, but I was like, they're going to be in the water. They're going to be in the water. And what I saw was just like my dream. It shrunk down and then you see a little then it breaks it splits one orb splits into two orbs in the water. And then the orb on the left is a pyramid. And then
Oh,
another
wow.
one's a solid orb. And then it
That's
eventually burns
wild.
out. I can't explain it. It makes no sense, the patterns, but like I've never seen lights do that. The boat was moving too. Like it was going towards the orb. Like it was like we saw the boat move for a good 10 minutes.
And is that on another video? Is there another video of that I'm
I
not
mean,
looking at?
it's in the pinned video.
It is.
There's it's broken up in different clips. Like I'd have to go on my camera roll.
If you do find those clips, send me, email me some of those clips with the pyramid and all that stuff. I will post them and show them on the show here.
I think the pyramid's a clip in the video. The sound I gotta show you the original with the
Yeah.
sound. There's no sound. It's just me talking on it, but the music for some reason TikTok removed the sound when I put in
Yeah, they do that. Yeah.
I was like whatever. So I'll go back and I'll look, but I think
I'm interested.
the light splitting in half, I think that's still in the video. I just put it
Okay.
I put it on to one and I was like, okay, this doesn't do justice. I'll even though I was like, let me make the being clip its own, and that one got more attention. I think both are equally fascinating, but I think here's the thing, like my girl who was with me, she was like looking away when it shrunk, and the video didn't do it justice. So unfortunately, that's the only thing I didn't catch on camera. But it was like, but it was weird because I was looking at my camera when I saw it shrink. So I'm like, I pressed record, but it didn't catch it. So I was like half a second late. It's like it knew it was being recorded. And
I think it did.
Had I caught that, I think it would have been just as cool of a clip. So, call me crazy, call me a liar, but I was like, I wish I had that.
You're definitely, Luke, you're definitely not crazy. You are actually onto something here. And that's what I love about this whole thing is that I'm guided on my inner levels. I know because I have such a strong media background for years. I know I look at a lot of stuff. Your stuff is phenomenal. This goes on the charts to me as one of the top 10 and very different. This is not just, we're not just looking at what Luke showed, which was the sighting of what I think is a light being on the beach and the orb in the sky that you saw in the video for those that will. And this is going to be downloaded into my YouTube channel, so you can rewatch the whole show tomorrow. I'll have this on YouTube. Astro Command Spaceship News.
I'll send some of my videos over. You're welcome to. You have my permission to reuse them.
I want to look at them. Yeah, I'm excited.
Much of it to get out as possible. I don't care about if it gets reused or whatever. That doesn't matter to me. I'd like more people to be aware of this. You know.
Yeah, and my Astro Command Spaceship News channel here on TikTok, I have nothing but real footage from all over the place. So, we'll definitely look at it. I am excited. I'm still hypnotized by that video that I just showed. That's going to be on my channel here, folks. So if you want to see that video that he recorded down in Puerto Rico, I'll be posting it. Maybe I'll post it tonight even before I go to sleep. Hey, Luke, I want to thank you, man. If you have anything else happen with the UAPs or the spaceships or anything, you can come here on Encounters, and you're now part of the show. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much. I'll send some stuff over, and I forgot to mention, I told her if she can make it out to that beach, that same spot, do it, send some recordings, and hopefully maybe we'll get some new updates.
And Luke, you can come on camera. I want to test my theory. So I'm going to press the button here, and you're going to see something popping in here. We want to bring you on the screen for a minute.
Okay, that's fine.
See, okay, I'm pressing the thing here, and it should allow you to come on. You just have to.
I think I saw it. I think it went away. Can you press it again?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's
see if you can do it. See it?
No, do I need to click again? It says settings. No.
I just pressed it again.
Once I didn't see it again. Where it said like turn on.
Yeah, I have the ability to do it from my end. I'm pressing it. Everybody I've pressed it for, they say, oh yeah, there's something popping up. When you see it, just save it. Just press save.
Okay. Oh, that thing. Okay. It is save.
Yeah.
Like, click on my screen.
Yep. Press save.
Okay. You'll connect using audio only. That's all it says, though. So I don't know.
Oh, really? You have.
I got it.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go, Luke. You're now able to go on screen and broadcast.
Great.
There you go.
Awesome.
Congratulations, friend.
Thank
Everyone,
you.
here's Luke, the person that recorded it, and we want to congratulate you on doing a superb job of documenting this. It's really great.
Thank you. I'll try to use a tripod next time or something. But
yeah.
But
now, if you ever do your own lives, and you're going out somewhere to do some research, you can show people and you can record just what you're doing right on the beach or wherever you are. So,
I live in Atlanta. I wish I was close to the beach. I'll make it back out there, but all I can say is that I don't remember the last time I haven't looked at the skies and at least seen some blinking lights. I checked the radar. There's a lot of things not on the radar, so
people want me to show it one more time.
Maybe they follow me.
Yeah, I'll show one more time. It's a popular video. Let's show one more time for everybody. I'm going to go to here. Let me turn the lights off. Why is that light on? Anyway, I'm going to do this here. Your video has made a splash here. I'm going to go back to the video, and we'll show it one more time for people that missed it. And this is on the beach, and this is in San Juan, Puerto Rico. So we'll show it one more time for everybody. I'm going to switch the screen here, and I'm going to flip it. Okay, and then I'm going to take my encounters screen, and I'm going to knock myself out here. So I'm going to show the video one more time, and it's going to play. You'll see the being, everybody who didn't see this, and I'm going to show the video here from this perspective. You're going to see the orb as well. The middle thing sticking up is the actual being, which I consider a light being or some plasma being or a light being. That's my theory. San Juan, Puerto Rico. You'll see something next to the light being. Then you're going to see an orb. So if you miss it, you're going to see an orb. We'll show it one more time here. The orb, you'll see the orb in just a minute. Let me see here. Luke shows the orb in just a minute. There's an orb in the sky above the water. And you should see that in a second. And the orb is there. Okay, where's the orb? There's the orb right there. So there's the orb that I'm talking about. The being's on the beach in the water. The orb is in the sky, and there's the being again. So that's the video. That's the video that I think is fantastic. We're going to bring myself back on camera here. Let's just turn the lights on. Luke, again, I want to thank you, brother, for sharing some great footage and being on TikTok. And I just think it's just great. I'm going to get myself back on camera here.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. Excited.
It's been a real honor.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're on here at 11 o'clock nightly. This is the biggest show on UFOs. I've been on here for 3 years. I come from radio broadcasting on NPR radio in Connecticut with a Cosmic Eye show, which I'm doing a sabbatical now. I'm just really focused on my encounter show. So thanks again, man. If you ever have anything you want to share out of Georgia that's in the sky, you can come right on here and I'll bring you right up on the screen.
I'll keep posting, and I'll message you if I have any really good finds. I'm gonna see what I can do.
All right. Hey, Luke, everybody. Luke from Atlanta, Georgia. Thanks for being on here, man. Have a great night.
Thank you. You too.
All right. We're going to just bring him down slowly here. I want to thank everybody for having Luke on. And let's see who else we got here. We have Canada, I think. Let me see here. We're going to start winding down just a bit. I think Canada will bring on a Sunday night. Tomorrow night is really important. Tomorrow night is Ashtar Command Night. If you've never watched the show April, Friends with Furries and myself are going to be doing a show together, which we do Saturday night. There's some really important things happening on the planet that have been done. And I'll just give you a teaser to tell you that the negative ETs with our government, when I say our government, what I call secret operations, have been done again in areas that we'll discuss tomorrow night. We're going to give you some revelation of information that people here do not know about. And it's very sad what was done, but you're going to learn about this tomorrow night. And we're going to tell you what the Ashtar Command is doing tomorrow night, because the Ashtar Command is going to be doing something. They're already doing it to counter what has been done. But what has been done is wrong. And we're going to tell you about it. We're going to expose it, expose what they've done tomorrow night on Ashtar Command Night. April and I are going to be talking about it. April, for those that did not know her, is been on the Ashtar Command spaceships over 200 times. She's a contactee. She's with the Ashtar Command, Friends with Furries 1111. And we have a group of 5 that I'm involved with. I am also involved with the Ashtar Command, have been for most of my life. And we'll talk about what's going on here, and we'll talk about that tomorrow night. All right. Oh, Sue. Okay. And that show will be recorded. So if you have plans or you're doing something, the show will be recorded on my YouTube channel. It'll be on my YouTube channel by Sunday morning. And tonight's show will be downloaded and on my YouTube channel by tomorrow morning. Okay. Everybody, please have a good night. Be good to each other. We love you. Please follow me. If you're not following me, go to my main bio, and also you can link up to my YouTube channel. In my bio, there's a link. Please press the follow button. Everybody that's not following me, please press your follow button. That's really important. May you all have a good weekend. We'll see you tomorrow night at 11 o'clock for Ashtar Command Night. And that's with April and myself here on Encounters. Take care, everybody. Be well.